Welcome to Park Bench Interviews, hosted by Randy Goodman, Harvey Callis Real Estate, your real estate professional. Get to know our community, our businesses, products, and services that will elevate your life. Please welcome your hostess, Randy Goodman.
Hey everybody, it's Randy Goodman from Harvey Callis Real Estate here, and I am super excited to introduce my guest. So my first guest, Oszlai, who is a financial doctor, and I can't wait to find out what exactly that means. And she is going to share some great information with us today. Annie, thank you so much for being on with me.
Thank you so much, Randy. Greatly appreciate the invitation. Hi.
Well, I'm super happy to have you on here. You're already in my network. I love you. I respect you, and you're so brilliant. You've been sharing like incredible information for everybody on social media and by email, and you like are so on top of it. It's unbelievable. So I so appreciate you. Thank you for doing that, for really caring about everybody out there and making sure we have the right links to everything, and we have all the updated information. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Okay.
So you said you want to find out about what I'm doing. So you very well pointed out that one of the aspects that I'm doing is actually education. I want to make sure that not only my clients and business partners, but pretty much the entire world is knowing what are their options and what they can do and how they can capitalize from the situation that we are kind of forced into and how we can get out of it in a good space versus in the fear where most people are in at the moment with regards to the COVID crisis. Yeah. So I happen to be a financial doctor, and what it really means is that, yes, I happen to have my master's in adult education, but I also have all my financial licenses, such as investment, insurance, and real estate. And, the way I work with my clients, and that's exactly how I have been, doing this for, decades at this point, is to make sure that I understand their situation, and then I'm providing the right advice specifically for their situation so that I can help their businesses. And right now, to be quite honest with you, I have very wholesome conversations with business owners in terms of how they can rewire their thinking in terms of how they can offer their services in this very digital environment that we found ourselves at the moment. And, the connections that I have, my network, they are really making the difference. Just like for you as well, you have a very large network. At the end of the day, the question is, how can we help each other to grow and win? And I happen to have been completing my mindset certification as well with Noel Warren, who's graduate of Bob Proctor. So everything that I do is pretty much based on the law of attraction. So I really want to make sure that we are creating good vibrations and all the good that then resonates with others as well, and they can move ahead and flourish.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, you're so focused on that and helping people, and it's really difficult right now for a lot of people. They're stuck in their house, their mindset may be going a little bit downhill, even if they're normally uphill, because it's difficult to be, especially if you're alone and whatnot, and know that you're never alone, everybody, because, here we are having great conversations, and you can get on Zooms and Facebook Lives and chit chat with people or get on the phone. There's always a way to stay connected and not really feel like you're alone. But I'm glad that there's people like Annie out there who can really help us lift ourselves, and have the right information for at our fingertips. And even if you can't meet face to face, you can do something like this on Zoom, right? So Annie, explain a little bit about your business to us.
Thank you, Randy. So what I'm doing for my clients is reviewing their entire financial portfolio. So whether it's investments, whether it's insurance, if there is any budgeting concern with regards to, business financing, loans, mortgages, pretty much the entire financial spectrum. So I'm basically, the complementary second opinion in terms of looking at, what you have and detecting, how we can make things better. And sometimes it's a cash flow situation, so we need to find avenues to make it working better. And that's part of what I was doing, lately is, not only being on top of my game and understanding what the federal and the provincial government is supporting Canadians, individuals as well as businesses with, but also how specifically, the people that I'm speaking with can get the maximum benefit from it, and then utilizing it. So, for instance, specifically when it comes to investments, I know that many people are obviously, getting into this panic mode. Oh my God, markets are tanking, and what shall we do? And this is where the right advice comes in. So it's extremely important that you speak with your financial advisor. If you want to have a second opinion, feel free to reach out to me. I would be absolutely delighted to review, what you have right now and how can you get the best out of it, as well as with regards to insurance. And what is very little known at this point for the public, because it's not really talked about, is that for the COVID, even for people who fully recover from it, if it was in a situation, if they went into a situation where the lungs really got inflamed, not necessarily being on a ventilator, I mean, that's a whole different game. But, when the lungs got really inflamed and they had a pneumonia and all the mucuses and whatever else, even if they fully recover, apparently there is a 20 to 30% decrease in lung functionality for the next approximately 15 years.
Wow.
So I'm not trying to scare anyone here, but what I'm trying to get out of here, out of this information, is that that means that going down the road, there might be difficulty in terms of some daily functionalities, such as exercising, depending on the type of work that they have. So, while you are healthy, that's the time to rethink and revisit in terms of what insurances you have. So if you actually have insurance, that's fantastic. But make sure that you review it with your advisor, or you're welcome to contact me as well to review what you have. Because I can tell you one thing, that if someone, God forbid, gets into a situation like that, their insurability probably will be going down the drain. So, looking at, okay, how can we making sure that our lifestyle is maintained, not only for, the 4 months that the federal government is willing to provide a subsidy to individuals and businesses, but also going down the road, it would be a good idea to look at a plan B. So that's, just my 2 cents. I know that, there are all kinds of insurance products out there that can help replacing your income, replacing, your business overhead expenses, to make sure that you don't have to worry about it. Critical illness, for instance, gives a lump sum amount. It can be even converted to long-term care. So going down the road, so there are all kinds of situations. What can we do now, as well as, how are we going to look at the long-term effects as well, and really making sure that the cash flow is secured, not just for the now, but on an ongoing basis. So that's definitely something. And again, as I mentioned earlier, with regard to the businesses, how are we going to revamp the ideas around being online?
Okay, thank you. So I know you could probably teach week-long courses on this stuff and just never run out of information. I love it. You're so knowledgeable, and that just proves that, people should be reaching out to you and chatting with you about their finances. And now is the best time to be able to do that, because we're all stuck at home anyway, right? So what else are we going to do? But, what has surprised you most about the business that you're in? Have you found anything shocking or surprising that people have asked about or they weren't aware of?
Very good question, Wendy. Very good question. So, with regards to specifically the finances, after the initial shock, which was obviously the markets tanking, People got over it, and they, thank God, my clients, we have excellent relationships. So we reached out to each other and we had very open communication, and that was great. So we were able to calm nerves and have the right moves. But after that, people started to have this lack mindset in terms of, okay, wait a second, what if I lose my job? What if I need to close my business? And then sure enough, it actually did happen, because, if there were no essential services, they had to actually close their business. And then in the interim, obviously, the government came out with a subsidy program, which is great, but they still asked, okay, so what am I going to do other than, being able to defer my mortgage for 6 months? Banks are cutting on interest rates with regards to credit cards and certain loan situations that are, eased and so on. But what about my business? Like how am I going to, if I don't have any cash flow at the moment, what am I supposed to do? And it's so funny because, when you speak normally with a financial advisor, they really just focus on the financial aspect and not the overall holistic approach.
Right.
And my approach has always been, okay, how are we looking at the overall picture? So I immediately start going into the doctor mode and understanding, okay, who are your clients really, like ideal clients? What is it that you normally do?
Mm-hmm.
And so not only am I connecting them with online marketing experts to make sure that they can help revamping their strategies more on an online stream, but also connecting them with other partners so that they can still have a strategy of cash flow at the moment, but also building the momentum for when all this is over. So that was an extremely good experience, to be quite honest with you, because now I believe that the connection with my clients is even more secure and more
Right.
stronger than before, right? So that's a good thing that came out of it. And I know that some asked, okay, is there any way that we can defer, for instance, insurance premium payments? And I have great news that the insurance industry finally came to the agreement that we can actually have deferrals up to 90 days with the coverage still being maintained if someone is really having a hardship situation. They just really need to, reach out to us, and obviously we are reaching out to them to have a conversation, and it's all possible. So really, everyone is together at the moment, and we really want to make sure that we help each other
Yeah.
to overcome this, and like I said, get out as winners out of this situation.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So has anyone ever asked you like something really odd, or like where you just went, what?
Something odd, like you mean in the current situation or
Something
before?
odd. No, just in general, like in your business. Has somebody ever asked you anything like you just went, wow, I've never been asked that before? And I don't mean
It's
asked out
actually
on a date.
okay. Let's not talk about that situation, okay? But actually, yes, I have been visiting clients for their financial review, and then suddenly a musician is showing up, and at the end of the evening, he asked me whether I can manage him, and I mean the rest is history. So right now, I'm I'm actually helping. So that's one of my passions, to help actually artists to flourish and find their connections to get out there and become successful. And Randy, because you this beautiful charity that we were working on, and I ended up becoming the head of the entertainment committee, and I basically managed the entire artist for the show. And I can't wait for it to happen, because we've been working so hard and all the rehearsals and everything, and we are so jammed up and ready to go. But yeah, that was one of the coincidences of life, and I love it because music is part of my texture and something that I enjoy.
Okay, perfect. I love it. So can you tell us something that most people don't know about you?
Most people don't know about me. Okay, well, I also happen to be um, well, you hear from the accent that I'm from somewhere, but people usually don't pinpoint it. So I'm half Hungarian, half German, and I do speak both languages fluently. So that makes me trilingual. And I also have two amazing children. I have a daughter who is 11. She's a competitive dancer, competitive piano player. Yes, you can hear the music as part of our culture and our texture. And I also have a perfect little guy who, yes, I'm raising the perfect man, absolutely. And he's 7, and he wants to be an astronaut. So there you go. He's reaching for the stars.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Listen, if you're going to reach high, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, what can you tell us, like, one of the most memorable experiences you've had with a client?
Actually, yes, I can. And this is actually something that well, I'm grateful for all my clients, but I'm always happy when I see that what we discuss is fruitful and is really working for them. So let me talk about my client Mike. He happens to be a business owner, and he came to me for advice in 2017 around September. And we started a conversation, reviewing his situation, his business, and everything else. And yes, I was able to connect him with a lot of other, connections to help his business to flourish and everything else. And ultimately, we decided to put certain financial solutions into place, not only investments, but also insurance solutions. So we actually had a whole revamp of everything that he had. Permanent insurance that is creating cash flow for him, a term component to take care of his, different mortgages and loan situations, critical illness, obviously, to make sure that if God forbid something happens, then the lifestyle is maintained, the income protection, the business overhead expense, and so on. So we did a lot of things for him to make sure that he's well off, because he was really the breadwinner of the family. And he was extremely satisfied. So by the time we put everything in place, that was in October. By the time the underwriting happened, that was November. Because one of the things that I'm pride myself, I only offer solutions where I know that we can bank on. So underwriting is upfront, and once the policy is issued, you can bank on it. Period. So basically, by November, everything was issued, and he was very happy. So he recommended his extended family as well to sit down with me. And so basically, by Christmas, the entire family had their financial solutions, insurance, investments, and so on. And we looked at real estate investments as well. So this is 2017 at the end, right? So 2018 March, he goes for a regular checkup. And the doctor says, Mike, it looks like you have prostate cancer. And so they start obviously checking. And by mid-April, they know that this is something extremely aggressive, and it will not respond well to radiations. So they will need to do the surgery. And so the surgery was scheduled for the first week of May. And of course, I made sure that I'm actually in the hospital on the day, because I wanted to make sure he's doing well. So,
Right.
I went to his hospital room, and thank God he was doing well after the surgeries. We were really just joking around, hey, Mike, you just went through a C-section, welcome to the club. But at the end of the day, I remember that the first question that he asked, like, okay, Annie, but what's up with my policies? Because it was such a short period between they were issued versus now we need to make a claim. And you know what I said, Mike, you were perfectly healthy at the time when we put everything into place, so you don't have to worry about the thing. And sure enough, we were able to replace his income, with the income protection. His business was taken care of with the business expenses, and even the critical illness paid. So basically, the critical illness literally paid off the majority of his loans, and he was even able to invest. So at the end of the day, once all this care was done, they invited me to their home. We had a really nice dinner, and the wife said, you know what? We just got so many $100,000 for one organ. Like, can we repeat this? And I'm like, come on, no, absolutely not. But I mean, so at the end of the day, this is a good news story, and I love to see when my clients are happy and satisfied, and they don't have to worry, because when you go through something like this, the last thing you want is worrying about financials. So I love how I was able to take care of them, and then guess what? Now they are referring me to God and the world, because they already know that I not only took care of them, but when they needed help, meaning they did need to have go through this health crisis and the situation, I was there for them. So it's a good news
At
story.
any, there's no better referral than that,
Yeah.
where you've been able to actually impact their life in such a huge way. And of course, it's through terrible circumstances, of course, but and fortunately he survived and everything went well, and that's fabulous. But people are afraid, like, what's going to happen to them, and how are they going to protect themselves? And you have all kinds of solutions for that, so it's really important for people to be aware of, and I think a lot of them aren't. So it's great that you're able to offer that service. So Annie, tell us a little bit, tell us like the short, quick answer. Who from your childhood had the biggest impact on you, and what did that person teach you?
That's actually a very interesting question, and we have to go back to music to answer it, and it's going to be something completely atypical. It's Freddie Mercury. Yes, I'm a Queen fan, and I'm aging myself, absolutely. But basically, that man has shown the world that no matter from what circumstances you're coming from, and I mean, we know that he came from Zanzibar, and they were immigrants when they moved to England. And it was very different for him to suddenly coming from a boarding school in India and now living in the capital city of Great Britain, and finding himself and ultimately finding the true self, not only as an entertainer but through the sexuality and everything else. And despite all the obstacles, to get out as someone who conquered the world. And I'm not saying that I want to conquer the world, don't get me wrong, but basically the bottom line is what it really taught me, that once you set your mind to something that you want to accomplish and what will be your legacy to the world, and you have a crystal clear picture on the screen of your mind, then you will be able to create the actions to actually get you there. So my legacy, quite frankly, Randy, is to make sure that I help as many people as possible. I'm talking about thousands of people in the world, to reach not only their financial potential by making educated and conscious choices, but also through music. Because quite frankly, I firmly believe that, especially in the current crisis that we are in, where people are locked in, they really need something that is soothing their soul. And music happens to be one of those beautiful mediums that can help you, to cheer you up, to bring you hope and love. So to help these artists and getting their legacy out there, it's part of mine as well. So I love it.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you. I don't think there is such thing as a short answer with any. Everything is a long answer. But at least you're gonna get all the information. She's not gonna miss out on anything when she speaks with you. So if if a young person was to ask you for advice, what would you tell them?
Advice with regards to what? To financials, to life,
to their business, or maybe even getting into the business.
Getting into the business. Well, you know what, the first thing would be literally an interview, understanding the person, because I need to understand where they are coming from. How far are they thinking ahead? If they only have planned for tomorrow or the next month, or maybe even just a year ahead, then they are not necessarily ready to conquer all the challenges that they are going ahead. So the first thing I would be doing is really understanding their point of view and their passion, because you need to be passionate about what you're doing, because that's how you can help others. Quite frankly, when you help others, then you can have anything that you want, right? So the key focus is not what's in it for me, but right, what's in it for them. And when you operate from that angle, that's when the success will come as well. That worked for many people, that worked for me. I happen to be the #1 financial specialist within my company, and that's Canada-wide, and I'm extremely proud of it. But the motivation never changed. It's, how can I help others? And that's the same thing. Like, look ahead, how can you help others? And then obviously, once we understand, okay, this is your passion, this is what you want to do, then I would be delighted to connect you with the right individuals to actually succeed.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. So if people want to get in contact with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
The very best way, Randy, is to call my cell number. My cell number is with me pretty much 24/7, and the number is 416-543-6127. 416-543-6127.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you so much for sharing with us, Annie. It's and it's really funny because people don't know you're so brilliant in so many different ways. You're an incredible musician. You are brilliant, obviously, and in the the financial area. You have multiple licenses that, I won't go through them all because I know you have to park them when you're a financial doctor. But, it's amazing and how brilliant you are and how much information you actually hold. So you have quite a good understanding of the market and, financial situations going on with people, whereas most may not have the same perspectives or the same knowledge that you have. And I just love that about you. You're always learning. You're always, trying to add value to the people that you're helping. And you're doing that by educating yourself and increasing that awareness. But you're also such an amazing connector. I know you've referred me in real estate a few times that I so appreciate. Thank you. And I just love how you really truly like to connect with the people that you're working with and your friends and the people around you. And you're really authentic, and you can't say that about a lot of people. So that's why I really wanted to point it out, where you really truly do want to help and you really truly go out of your way to make that happen. And, if you guys out there are looking for someone to help you with your finances, whether it's to get a first opinion or a second opinion, absolutely reach out to Annie. She is just so personable and so fantastic. I know she'll be able to help you. There's never any pressure or whatnot. She's purely value driven and just loves to serve. And that's what brings you to #1 in Canada, I guess, right?
That's right. And plus the knowledge of how to optimize the taxes and prepare for proper estate planning. Because taxes, my friends, is something that you need to be aware of as well in this country.
Especially right now, yeah. So thank you so much, Annie, for being on with me. We will be posting your contact info so that people can reach out to you and get a hold of you. And if you thought that information Annie was sharing was awesome, meet her well, you can't meet her in person right now, but you can meet her on Zoom or on the phone and eventually meet her in person again and really get to know her and see just how incredible she is and how she can help you and your family and your friends and anybody else you want to refer to. So thank you again, Annie, for being on with us. And I can't wait to share this interview.
Thank you so much, Randy. Greatly appreciate the opportunity. And thank you for everyone who was tuning in. And I'm absolutely looking forward to speaking with you and, just getting to know you and see how we can perhaps work together and get the best out there for you. We are here to help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this interview hosted by Randy Goodman. We hope you will take action and connect with the incredible business people and leaders in our community. And remember, Randy is always here to answer any questions you have regarding your real estate needs. Be sure to register on the website and stay up to date on what's happening in your area at parkbench.com/millpond.